The moment you stop defending yourself is the moment people start respecting you. I know that sounds backwards. Everything in you says, fight back, explain, correct the record. But stay with me for the next 10 minutes, because what I'm about to show you goes against almost everything modern culture teaches, and it's backed by 2,000 years of Stoic practice and some of the most compelling research in behavioral neuroscience. This is not a video about being passive. This is a video about being powerful in the way that actually lasts. Here's a situation most people know too well. Someone questions your decision at work, in your relationship, in your family. And even if you're completely confident you made the right call, something ignites inside you, a need, an urgency. You have to explain yourself. You have to make them understand. You have to win the moment. So you talk, you justify, you add context, reasons, history. And the more you explain, the more it feels like you're losing ground. Because you are. Most people think this is just personality. Some people are just emotional or passionate. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is neurological. And once you understand it, you can't unsee it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. That burning need to explain yourself is not confidence. It's your nervous system in threat mode. And every time you react from that place, you are broadcasting to the room and to yourself that your peace depends on other people's approval. The Stoics saw this clearly, and they built a system to escape it entirely. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth. He commanded armies. He governed millions. He was surrounded by advisors, critics, enemies, and sycophants, all with opinions about everything he did. And in his private journal, a journal he never intended for anyone else to read, he wrote this: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't writing that to inspire anyone. He was writing it as a reminder to himself. Because even the Emperor of Rome had to fight the same battle you and I fight every day. The battle to stay grounded when the world tries to pull you out of yourself. The Stoics called it the inner citadel. The idea that your true self, your values, your judgments, your peace, lives in a place that external events cannot touch. Not because you're detached or cold, but because you have trained yourself to respond from that center, rather than react from the surface. Epictetus, who started life as a slave and became one of the most respected philosophers in Roman history, said it directly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This isn't a nice sentiment. It is a survival strategy, and it works. Let's talk about what's happening inside your brain when someone criticizes you, doubts you, or challenges you in public. Your amygdala, the brain's threat detection system, fires. It doesn't know the difference between a physical threat and a social one. To your nervous system, someone challenging your reputation feels similar to physical danger. Cortisol floods in. Your thinking narrows. You stop being strategic and start being reactive. This is why you sometimes say things you later regret. It's not weakness. It's biology. But biology can be trained. Neuroscientist David Rock developed something called the SCARF model, a framework for understanding how the brain responds to social situations. One of the 5 core triggers is status, our perceived standing relative to others. When that status feels threatened, the same regions of the brain activate as they would if we were in physical pain. The research is remarkable. Social rejection and physical injury share overlapping neural pathways. This is why being dismissed feels so sharp. This is why being questioned in front of others is so uncomfortable. Your brain is treating it like an injury. And here's what makes it worse. When you over-explain or react defensively, you actually confirm the threat. You signal to your own nervous system and to everyone watching that the attack landed. Now here's what high-functioning people do differently. Research on individuals with high social confidence consistently shows lower cortisol reactivity in tense social situations. They still feel the pressure, but they pause before responding. That pause, sometimes just 2 or 3 seconds, is enough for the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of the brain, to regain control from the amygdala. That pause is not hesitation. That pause is mastery. There's a reason silence from the right person feels commanding, and silence from the wrong person feels like avoidance. The difference isn't the silence itself. It's the energy behind it. When you are grounded, when your sense of worth genuinely doesn't depend on what this particular person thinks of you, your silence reads as authority. It says, "I've considered what you said, and I don't need to perform for you." When you are ungrounded, when you're secretly desperate for their approval, your silence reads as weakness, as if you don't have an answer, as if they got to you. Same behavior, completely different signals. The difference is internal. Psychologist Edward Dacey's self-determination theory tells us that humans have 3 core psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. People who rely heavily on external validation to feel competent, to feel like they matter, become trapped in a cycle where they need constant reassurance. Their self-image is borrowed, not built. The Stoics were solving for exactly this. When Seneca wrote, "He who does not know how to be silent does not know how to speak," he wasn't talking about verbal technique. He was talking about the foundation of identity. The man who speaks too much, explains too much, justifies too much, he is renting his sense of self from others. He pays every time someone withdraws their approval. The man who can hold his silence has bought his identity outright. He owes no one an explanation for who he is. Here are 3 tools you can start using today, not next week, today. Tool 1. Install the conscious pause. This is the most important habit you will ever build for social intelligence. When you feel the urge to react, whether someone criticizes you, doubts you, or provokes you, breathe once before you speak. 1 breath, not to calm down, although that helps, but to signal to yourself, "I am choosing my response. I am not being pulled into one." That 1 breath is the difference between the reactive version of you and the version of you that you actually respect. Tool 2. Audit your explanations for 48 hours. For the next 2 days, notice every time you feel the urge to justify yourself. Then ask 1 question. Am I explaining to add genuine value to this conversation? Or am I explaining to manage what this person thinks of me? If the honest answer is the second one, stop talking. Let the silence sit. It will feel uncomfortable for you. It will feel authoritative to everyone else. Your discomfort with it is exactly why you need to practice it. Tool 3. Build your internal reference point each morning. Behavioral scientists call this strengthening your internal locus of control, the degree to which you believe your outcomes are shaped by your own choices rather than external judgment. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you seek input from anyone, write 1 sentence. What you stand for today, not what you want people to think of you, what you actually believe. Over time, And the research on this is consistent. This rewires how your brain processes social threat. You stop needing approval because you stop mistaking approval for safety. The ancient Stoics understood something that we keep having to relearn in every generation, that you cannot control what people think of you. You never could. The attempt to control it through endless explanation, constant justification, compulsive defense only makes you smaller. What you can control is how much of your identity you hand over to that process. That's the real work. And it begins not with what you say, but with what you learn to leave unsaid. A still lake reflects everything clearly. A disturbed one reflects nothing at all. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to be understood by everyone. You need to be understood by yourself. That clarity, that rootedness, is what genuine respect is built from. And it cannot be given to you by anyone else, which also means it cannot be taken from you. Remember that word you wrote in the comments at the start? Still. That's not a passive word. That's one of the most powerful states a human being can inhabit. Save this video. Come back to it the next time someone gets under your skin and you feel that old pull to explain yourself. And if you know someone who's been fighting battles, they could simply choose not to fight. Share this with them. It might change their week. More on Stoic discipline coming next. Stay grounded.